AFC, AFC, Southside, AFC, 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 Southside, AFC. Are you ready for the fight? Nighty night, lights out, no Tyson. About to be the clash of the Titans. Strike like a lightning bolt. You feel the ground pounding, that might be the coast. Quick like a joke, like to hit when provoked. Don't you doubt that. That's a jaguar to a house cat. That's an outcast to a whole squadron. If you talking Houston, then we've got a problem. You'll probably get the horns if you mess with the cattle. Sit back in your saddle and get ready for the fan battle. AFC, AFC, Southside, AFC, 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 Southside, AFC. Are you ready for the fight? Nighty night, lights out, no Tyson. About to be the clash of the Titans. Strike like a lightning bolt. You feel the ground pounding, that might be the coast. Quick like a joke, like to hit when provoked. Don't you doubt that. That's a jaguar to a house cat. That's an outcast to a whole squadron. If you talking Houston, then we've got a problem. You'll probably get the horns if you mess with the cattle. Sit back in your saddle and get ready for the fan battle.
Matt, I am liking the new introduction.
Yes, sir. That was fantastic.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, give our live viewers some.
You should see the Colts and the Texans new one too. They're pretty dope. As well.
No, the Colts one is dope. I'm without a doubt.
I like that you highlighted Rashad Jennings on there too.
I mean,
shout out.
You have to put out the GOAT on there. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's right. Well, everybody, all of our live viewers, we thank you for tuning in. We'll give everybody a couple minutes to start getting some action, then we'll get started as far as the audio stream. Hope everybody's having a good evening this evening.
Also, Sam.
Pat Storm in the chat. All y'all's team is ass cheeks. Well, Pat Storm, you're talking about your own team. So
nice cell phone, bro.
you're talking about the Texans as well, sir.
Also,
is that implied?
Why are you shouting in all caps, buddy? It's early in the show. Calm down.
Yeah. We need you to not yell so fondly.
Right.
Also, Sam, you know what tomorrow is?
Monday.
The official.
You beat me to it.
The official year mark. Like, I mean, it's been over a year, but it's been a year
Since
Pat McAfee. So we need
1
everybody
year.
to blow it up tomorrow.
Yes, 365. I think he might answer on day 369. I'm just calling that out right now. All right, let's get started for the audio.
Or 420. I mean, he's a big pothead, so.
That's you. We'll take it. We'll take it on any day that he's ready. He wrote us at one time, said, when are we doing this? And we haven't heard from him since. So, Pat, if you're listening.
Like a Tinder date.
It's very on brand for him, from what I understand. So.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to the AFC South Fan Battle Podcast. My name is Samantha Warnett. Joining us this evening are commentators for the Colts. We have Chris Jackson.
Hey, Yana Ngakwe. You like that one, Sam?
God.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I would like it, but I'm blocked.
Oh, you would? Oh, well, he likes our tweets. So as far as I'm concerned.
Well, tell him that I said hello. And I hope
Yeah, no. So
I hope he's as mediocre. I hope he's as mediocre for you as he was for us. Okay.
Please.
Hey, you know that white girl, that you blocked?
Be like, hey, by the way, completely off topic, but you remember this white woman named Samantha Warnett and then proceeds to get blocked, just be like, oh, I'm talking to myself now. It's just like, no, we're not doing that.
Fine. Well, representing the Texans, we have Matt Briggs.
We're a hashtag Team John Mechie right now.
Got it. Representing the Titans, we have the one who confirmed his place of employment today, Agent Ha.
Oh, yeah.
It's not good if you say it live, okay?
Yeah, it doesn't count.
Any
podcasts are monitored.
If you check the bottom of the screen, there's John's new Twitter handle too, right there.
Oh, you got a Twitter now too?
No, it
John?
says John. It says John is too lame to have a social media.
Oh.
You should make that his
Yeah.
social media account.
it's against government policy, so you know.
Got it. And representing the Jaguars for the first time, we have a new commentator, not to be confused with the quarterback or the linebacker.
Hey, don't be saying that. You're going to get people to not watch us. If you say it is the linebacker, people, come on.
We have.
I am whatever Josh Allen you think I am.
Yeah, special guest Josh Allen.
What's up?
Which one? We don't know.
Close your eyes and imagine.
Yes, he can be whatever Josh Allen you want him to be.
Yeah, whichever one gets you to buy me, free food and sodas and whatever. You want to give me free stuff because you think I'm that guy? Then I'm that guy.
There you go.
Cash App is Josh Allen.
That's genius. You should do that.
Imagine somebody.
I gotta lose a few pounds.
Imagine somebody who's trying to say, "Wait, that is Josh Allen, but not the one from Buffalo." It's just like just imagine that being the process for ruling out.
Yes, Josh Allen from Jacksonville.
I'd try to pass for the good Josh Allen, not the one from Buffalo. So,
Ooh, the good.
But see, the way you do it is you go in a place where there's a waiting list and you're just writing your name down. Because once they see you, the gig is up, right? Like, because
exactly.
If I was passing for the Buffalo Josh Allen, I'm about 300 pounds. I'm a little overweight to be that guy. And then obviously there's hurdles in passing for the one here in Jacksonville. So we'll leave it at
that. Theo White, we have a comment from the group already. Theo White says, "What's up, Josh Duval?" Yeah,
Duval, baby. I'm gonna have sound drops, by the way. I didn't have time to get that one in, but that's the thing I'm gonna bring to this podcast. So it'll be many sound drops, both for the Jaguars and making fun of the rest of.
Oh well, good. Then you're gonna bring. You're telling us you're gonna bring consistency.
Yeah.
Consistency to this podcast. That's what we like.
Yep. And I started off by not accomplishing it, so that may be the consistency that you get.
Nice. Well, Jon Ha, you've been rather quiet, old Negatron over here. You know the people want to hear from you. We haven't seen you on here in a while.
It's been a minute.
What's been going on, buddy?
My mom's really good friends with Zach Wilson's mom, so that we've been dealing with some news.
Oh, stepbrother going on, huh? You got your shorts on by Randy Jackson ready?
So? I'm sorry, Chris Jackson, but Matt Ryan's no longer my favorite player. It's Zach Wilson now.
hey, listen, Zach Wilson has cemented himself as an off-season legend. So as far as I'm concerned,
Hall of Famer.
I'm completely okay with that.
Well, guys, let's get into some NFL news. God, there will be one day where we won't have to talk about this anymore.
You're lying.
Yeah, that's true. So just before the show went live, about an hour before we went live to air this, the NFLPA released a statement. It was very cryptic.
Well, you got to do the backdrop too. They said that they were going to release the verdict of the Sue Robinson on Watson tomorrow at 8 a.m.
Which is the NFL.
Right.
NFL, just for people who don't know.
Right. She's Supreme Court, but she is going to say how many games she thinks Deshaun Watson's to be suspended for.
Right. So the NFLPA just released this statement about an hour before. In advance of Judge Robinson's decision, we wanted to reiterate the facts of this proceeding. First, we have fully cooperated with every NFL inquiry and provided the NFL with the most comprehensive set of information for any personal conduct policy investigation. A former federal judge appointed jointly by the NFLPA and NFL held a full and fair hearing, has read thousands of pages of investigative documents, and reviewed arguments from both sides impartially. See, but I don't like some of these words. I don't know.
Too big?
No, no, not because of that, but because they're
a lot of $5 words in there for Sam.
It's just, it's very, it's not black and white. You can take this either way, right? Every player, owner, business partner, and stakeholder deserves to know that our process is legitimate and will not be tarnished based on the whims of the league office. This is why, regardless of her decision, Deshaun and the NFLPA will stand by her ruling, and we will call on the NFL to do the same. So a lot of people are taking that as they are coming out and saying, like, he's not
4 to 6. Yeah, 4 to 6 games is what they're calling.
Yeah, that he's not going to get hit with that many games and this and that. I kind of take it as it could go either way. And
all except for that whims of the league office. That's where the statement turns, right? The first part of it, you can sort of twist it either way, but when they get into that, it makes me think anyway that the arbitration ruling is going to be not as much as the NFL wants to smack him around for in terms of suspension, and the NFLPA is gearing up to say, we believe that the process was good, therefore NFL, you shouldn't not do whatever the lady says.
Well, wouldn't this be fun? Like they have been for Deshaun Watson, which is that's their job, but they've been for him for getting 4 to 6 this whole time. But wouldn't it be funny tomorrow? Sue Robinson would be like, "Yeah, I think he should be suspended for 2 years." Wouldn't that be hilarious? Now
that would be great,
right?
I mean, so that's what I mean, though. I kind of take this either way, right? It's either like they're gonna go ahead and say like NFL do what she says, or like. At the same time, we're going to agree with it and respect it. So it can go kind of either way, right?
I guess it depends on where the NFLPA stands with Watson, right? My assumption is that they're backing Watson and they're advocating for him to not get hit with a stiff penalty. Well, maybe he's done something. They're a union like any other union.
Well, they already
aggravated.
They already came out and said if it's a year and more, that they're going to appeal it.
Okay. Yeah. Then I mean, yeah.
That's going to go well.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I mean, listen, I took a lot of flack for this,
What's Calvin Ridley's suspension?
1 year.
Right. So somebody brought that up, and that was the betting, right? So somebody brought up like that as a comparison. But there's a difference. Like if you're looking at like checks and balances, right? Where this is like alleged. Not that I'm saying that, I mean, come on, all these women come out and say the same thing. It's clear that it happened, right? But you're looking at somebody who admitted it, who took the fault and, whatever, and owned their stuff versus somebody fighting it and you have no tangible proof. And at the end of the day, I really wish that those women that had the most evidence would have gone with a different attorney who could have fought for them, because I feel like Busby was just trying to stack clients so he could stack money and get clout and all this stuff, and it really did them an injustice. It didn't get them justice. That's just my opinion on the matter.
Well, I mean, from the beginning with him, it looked like it was an attention grab. Like regardless of whether your intentions are actually like in if they're in the best interest of your clients, or you're just trying to get your time on TV, it's just like it's different because it's been so up and down. It's been to, oh yeah, we're up to 22, but then we have, one of the people, they just like they posted the text messages showing that she asked for him to do it again, even though she said that, oh well, he violated my rights and this, that, and the other, and it's just been so up and down to the point where it's just like
Brianna,
it's beyond that. It's just
Brianna,
like, just go ahead and drop a punishment so that we can just get through this, because at this point it's just like it's a shit show.
Can we just agree that massages are weird and no one should get one, and then no one will ever be in this situation ever again? Like, they're just weird. Like, let's just stop doing massages.
No, you don't have to do that. You just can't. Don't go do Instagram models. Like, go to a professional. Like, why are you hitting up Instagram models? You know what I mean? But like, I agree with you, Chris. I think the beginning he was for the woman, but when they settled, he went after the Texans. Now he's going after the NFL. Like, who else are you gonna go after? Fox Sports, because they have Deshaun Watson on their intro. Like, who else are you going after now? Like, move on. Like, you got paid. Quit trying to get more. I mean, you're making these women look like fools. But some women want it,
But to refute Josh's point, first off, whatever Deshaun likes, whether it be butthole pleasures or whatever, he's not going to ruin massages for me, because I know that I don't want any of what he's asking for in that. Like, no, absolutely not.
I'm just so tired of hearing about Deshaun Watson and his weirdo massages.
I covered the Texans. I'm with you, bro. Like, I'm done with it.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, we've been talking about it now. This is like
a year and a half.
Right. We've been talking about this forever, and it's gotten to the point now where I used to think it was funny because 2 seasons ago, we used to talk about Antonio Brown all the time, but this has lasted way longer than Antonio Brown at this point. Like, and that he does way more crazier, like consistently crazy stuff. This is one person doing.
Antonio Brown was a maniac, so let's just get that out the way.
Yeah.
Now he's a rapper.
Deshaun's just a freak. But also we got to also think about Ben Roethlisberger, regardless if you like him or not.
Right?
Whatever you think about it, same thing. No evidence, no trial, settled out of court. He got 6 games. We're in a totally different era. He had 2 people. This guy has 26, about to be 30 people against him.
Well, and who was the guy that slapped the girl in the elevator too? That played
Ray Rice.
Yeah, Ray Rice.
Right.
I think the league's going to come and try to just obliterate Watson.
Well, Kareem Hunt got suspended for a year too.
Yeah.
Well, and he should. I mean, it's a different era. You got the Me Too. You got the women's rights.
The league is under a lot more social pressure to hammer down.
33% of your new fans are women. So, like, if you don't punish this man, what kind of example are you setting?
Oh, yes.
Plus, I'm a little biased because I want the Browns to suck with Jacoby Brissett. So, I mean, I got.
I don't always gotta hate on Jacoby Brissett
because he sucks and he's gonna give me a top 5 pick.
No, I thought that was the Colts' best quarterback. Quit talking shit.
Oh, who the fuck said that? Who the fuck said that? Like,
Me. I said that.
No, you said that.
I'm sure Harish has said it somewhere along the way.
Probably.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. That's one thing that we can't agree on.
No, John. He never said that. He said he wanted Sam Darnold to be his quarterback.
Oh, that's right. He still will defend it too.
Yes.
We got a comment saying Rice was on camera beating that woman. They have no footage of watching.
Yeah, but here's the other thing too: is that like when it comes to like circumstantial evidence is used to convict, like in terms of a legal system, like. You don't have to catch somebody on camera to convict of a crime. You can have circumstantial evidence and still convict a person of a crime. So, and this is also not a legal case anymore. This is really more of like the league deciding what they're going to do.
It's still a civil
it's not
case
even.
You still got four.
Well, no, that's it. Yeah, no, but I'm talking about what the league's punishment is going to be. Is not as this is the league deciding whether what he's guilty of in terms of breaking their code of conduct. Right. And whether or not they think they have enough circumstantial evidence. And Roger Goodell has the right to suspend him for however long he wants. He has the right to kick him out of the league. He has the right to do all of that stuff. This is all the stuff that we learned about during Deflategate because the NFLPA was terrible with their arbitrations in 2011 at the lockout. And they gave Roger Goodell a carte blanche to do whatever he wants in terms of punishments.
Boo.
Yeah. But you know what? It's also a little bit tougher to kind of say that, oh yeah, they're going to absolutely drop it because I mean, in the court of public opinion, I don't think anybody really knows anything other than they say that he should be suspended. I mean, we've been up to 22 women. We've been up to 22 women.
You got stupid Texans fans saying that this man is God still. So
we don't need to talk about
bottom line. Yeah, bottom line. He put himself in situations where even if he didn't do these things, he acted in a way where he was in situations and he was around people. Right. You know, you could argue that he had no business being, multimillionaire, superstar in the NFL, could have gone to any professional in the world. He could have called the team and said, hey, Texans, I need a massage, every Tuesday and Thursday at 3 p.m. I guarantee they would have made it happen. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Well,
he put himself in this situation.
They did. That was one of the most recent.
No, I hear you.
No.
But what I'm saying is he brought this on himself, and you don't have to commit a crime for the league to say you are bringing bad publicity and you are making us look bad. It's bottom line. If you're making us look bad and doing things you ought not, in the opinion of the league,
you are costing the league money,
exactly.
And then Tony Busby is about to sue the NFL. So of course they're going.
And the NFL will look at that and say, "Is that going to be cheaper than slapping this guy in the wrist?"
They'll settle it. It won't go to court.
And also go back.
I think we'll see if he's going to actually. We don't know that. We know he's suing the Texans. I think because we know that the Texans knew in some capacity, even if Busby said he didn't know. We know that they knew. We know that it was covered. But the thing is that what happens tomorrow and the judgment that the NFL comes out with, I think will determine if Busby, because you can't sue somebody for actually punishing someone else. Does that make sense? Like you can't then sue them. I mean, I guess
he can sue him saying that the NFL knew. I mean, how would the NFL defend?
I mean, I could sue the NFL then for abusing me for being a Jags fan all these years.
But also,
also go back to self-inflicted thing.
You got to sue the Jaguars for that one.
To go back to your Texans thing, everything came out that the Texans didn't know. The Texans have a hotel for all their players, and you have to be 25. Listen, you have to be 25 to get in. Deshaun Watson was only 23.
Bro, they knew.
So they had to put it in that guy's name for him to get.
Matt.
So,
they knew, man. Come on.
Okay. All right. They did.
Easterby knew.
Yeah. All Easterby knew. You're going to say that man knew. The one that said that we're going to trade DeAndre Hopkins because he had too many baby mamas. He's going to let that happen?
Yeah.
Come on.
Do you think the Browns put a clause in Watson's contract?
Nope.
To say that he can't go off and get his own massages.
I think they put like a chastity belt on him. So if you hear some clanging when he's running out during training camp,
with all the fuss over Kyler Murray's, you got to do 4 hours of film study clause in his contract this week. It made me think of that. I was like, I wonder if the Browns.
That's crazy. Well, I'll wrap it up to say this: who would have thought that this is how we would see Deshaun Watson in orange? Yet here we are. All right. Debo got an extension. Let's quickly touch on that. Who wants to take it? Go ahead, Chris.
Hey, listen. He finally got the deal he was looking for. The Niners, it's 3 years. I think it came out to about 71.1 million.
Yeah.
With
I thought he wanted out of San Fran.
No, he wanted to get paid.
Yeah, he wanted to get paid. I mean, you see what happened with AJ Brown, and he
wasn't
got paid.
That him who kept talking about he didn't want to bet his future on Trey Lance?
No.
I didn't hear that.
That wasn't him. Oh, okay.
No, that was AJ Brown on Ryan Tannehill.
Ooh.
No,
speaking of
which, I get that, but but I'm more about I could have sworn that Debo was saying something about Trey Lance. No, I don't want to bet. I don't want to bet my future on Trey Lance.
No,
I didn't hear nothing about
it. Debo's biggest issue with the 49ers was that he wanted to be paid, but he didn't want to be lowballed because they were playing him at running back and wide receiver. And the first numbers that they offered to him looked more like running back numbers than wide receiver numbers.
Can I mention this really quick before I forget, and we'll touch back on it during the Titan segment? AJ Brown tweeted, basically all four of us got the same contract and I'm the only one who got traded. Yeah, keep believing it was me. Anywho, go Birds. #carry on. Did you see that?
Yeah, I didn't see that, but that sounds amazing.
Anywho, he says, anywho, go Birds.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure he would have got paid if the Titans didn't put their hopes on Julio Jones last year.
That's the thing. The Titans didn't have the money. The salary cap situations were completely different, and the timing. His agent worked it so that he could get the big contract like that. Yeah, it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't you, AJ Brown, but it was certainly your agent.
Their salary cap was the same. They just had to cut D Ford to make room for it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, D Ford was still making a lot more money than he should have been. So, but I mean, honestly, I was hoping that he would be available so that we'd be able to make a play at him eventually.
Debo.
I mean, the cap goes up next year, so the money would have absolutely been there. But like I said, you got to pay him. He's literally their best offensive player, not named George Kittle.
Yeah, that's the way the market's going. Everyone's getting obscenely big contracts.
Yeah,
especially with him shifting away from Garoppolo to the new QB. You got to keep your weapons in place. Unlike the Jaguars, who have a supposed franchise QB and decided to literally bring no one in on offense. But we'll get to that later.
What are you talking about? You got Christian Kirk. I mean, come on now.
Who?
So I've actually coined this term. There was a thing that came out earlier on Twitter too that was talking about 11 players that have gotten paid, or wide receivers that have gotten paid over 20 million. So what I'm calling it now is Kirkflation.
There you go.
Because Christian Kirk getting paid 18 million set the standard. So that is Kirkflation. Okay. So from here on out.
You think about it. You guys had all that money to spend on a wide receiver and you spent it on Christian Kirk and you spent it first.
Yeah.
You could have gotten all of these other great wide receivers.
Anyway,
and
so
you said,
Julio
we got to pull the
Jones-
trigger on Christian Kirk.
I mean,
Julio
you're preaching to the
Jones.
choir over here. I'm not defending them. They're terrible.
So anyway, Julio Jones. Yeah, listen, hold up. I also was trying to get E. Dilla to start the trend of we have a reporter here Gene Fournette, who is like always talking good about Christian Kirk. So I told him he should start a hashtag cuck for Kirk. I'm gonna get that going. Don't look shocked, Josh Allen.
You'll get. Listen, I used to work at the Florida Times Union. I was in classified advertising sales, and Gene Fournette.
That makes sense.
Gene Fournette, like employment ads. Don't get weird. Gene Fournette's a nice guy, but he, you know, I'm going to talk in a little bit about people drinking training camp Kool-Aid. I'm pretty sure Gene Fournette is the one who actually mixes the Kool-Aid and passes it out and puts it in the cups. And
I don't think anybody listens to him anymore, honestly.
I was surprised he was still alive. I know that's terrible. I saw a tweet from the other day, and I was like, "Oh, you're not dead. That's cool. What's up, Gene?"
Oh, that's so fucked up. Oh, so funny. Okay, anyways, Julio Jones, go ahead. Who wants to take this one? Actually, Jon Ha, go ahead.
In a move that surprises 0% of the population, the minute the Titans said they were going to cut him, it was going to be the Buccaneers or the Rams. Everyone knew this. I don't think there's anybody surprised.
Okay.
Was anybody surprised?
He got $8 million four guaranteed. Right. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cheap for him, but
yeah, it is. I mean, he's getting paid what he's been showing. Like, the guy who struggled with a lot of injuries last year. And yeah, that's it.
He's going to be the third option on that.
Yeah, team, it's a good spot for him because he's not going to be asked a lot. You know, he can play a role position. It's not going to be like you have to be the guy.
I just want to see him by week 14, just give up in the middle of the game, strip his shirt off, and leave.
That's not Julio. That's not Julio. Julio's never.
I just want to see it happen. I want to prove that it's.
He's never been a loud guy.
Not you, it's me.
No, I'd just like to congratulate him on his Super Bowl ring this year.
Right, like Julio. I've always I've always put in the category of like those wide receivers like Larry Fitzgerald that are just like ultimate professionals. Like he's not going to be that way. It's just not. That's not his style.
I saw the picture of him on a horse topless. Okay, I'd like to see him ride off on that horse.
I'm sure he would, Sam.
That horse is named Tom Brady. So
we're gonna need you to keep it in your pants for this podcast.
And you know what? If you're Julio Jones, you're at this point in your career. You know what I mean? He's probably he's just going for that championship.
So before we moved on to the next NFL news, we got a couple comments. Todd Clary said, "What a bunch of dorks."
One to talk.
Hi, Todd.
Justin Briley says, "If you ain't repping Titans, you can't talk. Rest of the business ain't shit."
Okay,
just like your spelling.
Can we just address something really quick?
Somebody's had too much mayonnaise this evening.
And this one right here.
So Tommy Briley, aren't these your friends?
Okay, so let's go back to the lesser of two Brileys. Are they? So like, and the thing is, Jon Ha, I know this is a fan battle, and you know what? We're going to just address some things because weren't the Titans fan base the same people who are trying to prove every other fan base wrong about Trey Burks' terrible conditioning by reposting a video of him making a diving incompletion? Like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing here? Why are we happy that this man put forth all that effort just for the ball to hit the ground anyway?
We should say that for the Titans commentating for the part because that's going to be a whole subject.
I am, and you know what? I like Jon.
Are you suggesting that the Titans fans are hypocrites?
No.
Are you making that sort of a implication?
When you say it like that,
how could you?
When you say my bad. You know what? I'm going to save that for you, John, because I like your objectivity about your team. You're not one of these.
But here's the thing.
You don't take a spoonful of mayonnaise and then
but here's the thing.
Say, oh yeah, we're going for the top. Like you, I like you, John, as a Titans fan. The rest of your fan base, though, weirdos.
Okay, but here's the thing: is that.
I see how it is, Tommy Briley.
Okay, but here's the thing: is that yes, the Titans fans are very. And it's not exclusive to Titans fans. You notice this with all fan groups. You probably do it yourself to a certain degree. Where when you're in behind closed doors and you're talking about your own team to yourselves, you're a little bit more critical. You're a little bit more like, "This is stupid. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this." But then when somebody outside wants to insult your team, you start getting a little bit more defensive, and you start getting a little bit no, and you start backing them up. And that's just the way fans are. I just don't like to play those games.
Well,
I like to just talk about what I see.
Since we're talking about fans with special needs, don't we have the last one?
Oh yes,
Todd Cleary already commented.
yes. And Justin Briley keeps commenting that these are Jags fans. I would just like to clarify for those watching and listening live that Matt Briggs is a Texans. This is the AFC South fan battle. I know this is hard for the Titans to understand, and so I'll break it down. So this is the AFC South fan battle. So we have a host who's me, and I'm non-biased. Okay, I am non-biased. And we have a Texans commentator, a Colts commentator, a Jaguars commentator, and a Titans commentator. So if you want to mute it in between, you're more than welcome to. And we'll just let you know when Jon Ha is going to speak. But to be honest, you're probably not going to like what Jon Ha has to say about his team either, because he's the only honest Titans commentator.
Look, I understand that it's fan battle, and the premise is I'm supposed to like fight you guys and talk to you guys like, screw you, your team sucks. And I'm supposed to just use emotion, and I'm not supposed to use my brain. I'm supposed to be like Skip Bayless and just say stupid stuff just to get attention. But You know what? I'm just not going to be that way. And if that's not what you want, Sam or Matt or any, I don't care.
We like having you.
I appreciate having you.
I love it.
You are my favorite Titans commentator.
I just think a lot of the Titans fans have pent up rage over the fact that they've been exposed as mayonnaise eaters, and their team designed jerseys that looked like Hellman's mayonnaise logos. Go back and look at not their current one, but the one before. I'll bring the next time I'm on the show. I'll bring you a picture. I did a side-by-side comparison of a jar of Hellman's mayonnaise and.
Also, do we need to talk about old uniforms? Jaguars, come on. Old uniforms looking terrible.
Listen. There's nothing you can say.
Give me that helmet that had the faded gold in the back, baby.
No, don't even Cat Williams.
Was beautiful. I will die on that helmet. That helmet. Did you ever see it in person? That helmet was amazing.
I personally didn't like that helmet. I thought it looked like it was half painted. But even Cat Williams said that the Jaguars players look like models in their uniforms. Okay, I'm just saying.
Now, let's be honest. That helmet, that jersey. Listen, that Jags iteration of jerseys. There are two Jags jerseys that have been good. They're originals, and then the two-tone helmet minus the helmet those jerseys were tight.
I thought they were like so bad they're good. I'm a big fan of like really bad jerseys, and so that's what I loved about those Jags uniforms.
Oh, you like
bad that they were
that's
great.
Why you wanted that
the solid gold ones. Oh,
yeah,
I love it. They're so great.
Rush.
Yeah, I want
the color rush for
color rush. I need to collect that. Oh, I want one of those.
But let's be honest, the AFC South and all sucks. So I mean,
but no uniforms in the division are worse than the Texans pajamas.
No,
the Letterman
pajamas. No, look, the Titans put stupid sword blades as shoulder pads. What are you talking about? What are they thinking?
Dang, you forgot the Texans Letterman jackets. Those were horrible.
Oh, I did forget about those.
All right. Well, speaking of horrible, let's wrap up this last bit of NFL news, and then we'll get to talking about.
That's right. We're talking about Julio Jones. How did this?
No.
We're talking about.
Now we're talking about Daniel Jones. We moved on from Julio.
Okay, what happened to Daniel Jones? I've missed it.
We're talking about the lessest of two Jones.
Yeah, the lesser of two Jones.
The one that falls under his own feet. Is this the Daniel Jones that I'm talking
Leaster.
The Leaster.
So he overthrew. I think it was the guy from Florida. I can't think of his name. Tony or Tune or whatever you say his name.
And, Darius Tony.
Yeah, and he hit a special needs fan right in the face, like right. Yeah. Just straight.
So
welcome to the NFL, rookie.
You're supposed to catch that, boy.
So I'm trying to find this tweet right now because
the
Giants fans
get canceled on this one.
So someone got hit in the face with a football.
No. It gets
dead.
It was a tweet afterwards. It was a reply that was
okay.
Wesley Steinberg tweeted, eyewitness reports from camp today tell me quarterback Daniel Jones accidentally hit a disabled fan with a misplaced pass.
Accidentally.
And so Eric,
I would hope.
The fan, says you shouldn't talk about Kenny Golladay like that.
That man is a goat. I don't care what they say.
Eric, whoever you are, thank you for the comment.
That's ridiculous. Daniel Jones would never hit a Giants receiver.
See, this is why you need a Twitter, Jon Ha. That could have been your response. That's a good one. Ha for Twitter. One day we'll do it.
You created a Twitter account for me. Why aren't you tweeting it?
This is a breaking news with his hands. that fan has been signed to a 3-year contract worth $80 million.
That's right.
All right. Well, listen, let's talk training camp. That's the reason why we're here. We're going to start with the Colts. Chris Jackson, give us a quick, listen, it's the glory of training camp. Everything is great. Everything is awful. None of us are really going to know, but give us some just quick recap how the training camp's going. You got any injuries? What's going on?
No injuries as of right now. I think Darius Leonard is the only one that's currently on the PUP list. He's still recovering from the surgery that he had on his back that was supposed to correct everything with his ankle and everything else. The biggest takeaway right now is really just with Matt Ryan. The offense, he's bringing a leadership that we haven't seen in a long time. And also on offensively, he's doing a lot more than what we've seen, what we saw in the last year. He's hitting people all over. Well, not hitting people like Daniel Jones, but he's hitting receivers all over the field. He's not afraid to, take the checkdowns. I mean, it's just like he's had great passes and catches to all wide receivers, to Nyheim Hines, all our tight ends. Like everybody is really just clicking. And like I said, it's refreshing coming from how we saw with Carson Wentz last year, because, that was more so a reconstruction project, whereas Matt Ryan is just coming in and he's taking control of the offense from day one. So, I mean, he's looking good. Alec Pierce is going to do work this year. So,
anybody else think this sounds familiar with Carson Wentz from the year before?
Well, here's where it's different, is that like Carson Wentz last year had a propensity to try to play hero ball and had disastrous results. Matt Ryan, which you guys all know I've followed for a very long time.
Yeah, John, your commentary on Matt Ryan doesn't count because you freaking love.
We're going to mute your mic real quick.
No, I'm completely
Hear me out.
fine.
The thing with Matt Ryan, he's never had a deep arm. He's never known for having a powerful arm. He's not very mobile. But what he is he's very smart. So he is always going to be taking those checkdowns like you talked about, Chris. You're like, oh, he's making the smart decisions. That's because he does that. He's always looking at pre-snap reads, and he's very good at that. Question is it going to hold up? Because his last 2 years in Atlanta were not very Matt Ryan-esque numbers. But is that because of their personnel? Was it because of poor play calling? I don't know. So that's your big question mark. But he's always going to be prepared in terms of like what to do pre-snap, but I don't know what play calls they're going to make.
Yeah, and unlike Prince Harry, Matt Ryan has actually accomplished things in the NFL, right? Like he's actually done stuff that doesn't suck. So,
well, and I think one thing that's being overlooked is the fact that with Carson Wentz, it's just like you can talk about confidence and all that, but I mean, the pieces were there, like the team was there. All he had to do was just come in and make sure that he's making the smart plays, and
that's not what he did.
Didn't take the checkdowns. He didn't take the checkdowns. Like Nyheim, if you look at Nyheim Hines' numbers from when he was with Rivers to with Carson Wentz, and mind you, nothing changed on the team except for the quarterback position, but for some reason, Nyheim Hines' numbers went down. And that's just because Phillip Rivers was never afraid to take the checkdowns, take the shorter routes, whereas Carson Wentz was looking for the home run touchdown every single play. And that wasn't, unless it was a design play, like what you saw with Jonathan Taylor taking the screen pass against Baltimore, unless it's a design play, he's looking 50 yards downfield on every single play, and that was to the detriment of our offense.
And you could see him get rattled in games too, like, you could see, and the Matty Ice, they call him Matty Ice because he doesn't, like, he doesn't, and that's the same thing with Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers, he didn't panic in games. He was always in control of what was happening, even when they were losing. And Matt Ryan has that same quality. So really, the question is, has age caught up to Matt Ryan's physical ability to successfully throw the kind of passes he's always been able to throw? And I think that time catches everybody except Tom Brady. Apparently, he sold his soul to the devil.
Yeah.
So
look,
Matt Ryan's 37, so I mean, it wouldn't be unreasonable to see him just fall flat. But that's just because of how old he is.
Right.
I would never wish injury on anybody. But I hope that like Matt Ryan gets stuck at the airport week 1 or something, where he can't travel with the team to Jacksonville, so that Nick Foles has to play as quarterback for the Colts in Jacksonville.
But
I want to crush whoever comes here. Just get ready, Colts fans. You're taking it on the chin.
I want Nick Foles to play quarterback for the Colts.
I'm gonna say this: it's not a Colts training camp unless Matty Ice plays knockout in basketball with the whole team. Like it's not training camp yet.
Hey, listen. It is. Listen, that was great last year. That was great for Carson Wentz's confidence. But I mean, as we saw, it didn't translate fully to the field.
Well,
Matt Ryan.
Let me ask you this though: if you guys had won that game against the Jaguars, Week 18, Carson Wentz is still your quarterback, isn't he?
I mean, I want to say I think so, yeah, because I mean,
and John, we're talking about the game that there were 93% chance of making the playoffs, right?
Right. No, but like what I'm saying is that like
I just want to make sure we're talking about the same
what I'm saying is that like that one game seems to have been you just threw everything out because of that one game, right? And I get it; it was essentially a playoff game, but are you being? I mean, Carson Wentz had his problems, but was it all bad?
It wasn't. So the thing is, it wasn't Carson. The Carson Wentz experiment was not all bad, but the thing is, it wasn't good enough to justify spending another $28 million on him. Like that's the thing. Like if you're going to say
to Washington.
I mean, of course it is to Washington. Who Washington had besides Taylor Heineke and Keanu Reeves when he played in the replacements? Like
the GOAT, Ryan Fitzmagic. Come on, man. Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth.
For some reason, in my head, thought you were about to be like the GOAT, Robert Griffin III, and I was like, please don't.
They need the boat. Call Blake. Get him in there.
Colt McCoy. Come on now.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. But I mean, Washington. It's just they needed to be in on it, and not only that, but the thing is, it's just like we basically got the low end of a heavy contract for 1 year out of Carson Wentz before him being at a detriment and then going through the same thing over again. The one thing about Carson Wentz was he wasn't out there reading defenses and really making those plays. You had to design a game plan around him. Now you have somebody who's a professional who can make those reads on his own, who's playing with a team that's, I'm going to say, fundamentally better on every single level offensively than what he was dealing with in Atlanta, at least in the last, 2-3 years.
His last 2 years were a little bit rougher, but again, that's what I'm saying. My question mark was that, is it because of his personnel that he had the last 2 years in Atlanta, or is it
his numbers actually weren't that terrible? They were pretty.
They weren't terrible. No, like I said, but they weren't Matt Ryan numbers.
Yeah. He didn't have.
Well, and not only that, but the thing is, I mean, even last year, name a wide receiver outside of Calvin Ridley for me.
Well, and that's the thing. Calvin Ridley quit midseason. I mean, Kyle Pitts really got the lion's share of the receptions, and it was basically off of slant routes. That was really all that Matt Ryan had. And so last year, I just I chalk it up that way. But he also made some mistakes, but I can't help but blame the play calling on him.
Well, everybody, we thank you for tuning in to the Matt Ryan podcast.
Absolutely. No problem.
That's right. I got to be honest.
Glad we could go over that. Thank you. Much appreciated.
I thought you were in. I was like, oh damn, Sam's done. Like she's done with this conversation. Like, good night, guys. Bye.
That's enough, Matt Ryan, for the night. I'm just signing off.
Right. Fuck you guys. I'm out.
Yeah.
Chris, do you have anything else to add so we can get to the other teams for your team?
Oh yeah. By the way, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for realizing that Yannick Ngakoue was not the best player that you could have held on to, because I mean he's already making an impact even from like a community perspective. Like, I mean, he's engaged with the fans. Like he's
you want to know why,
everyone's
right?
favorite.
Just wait till he starts fighting reporters.
Yeah, can I explain why? Because
go ahead.
He went kicking and screaming from here, probably with reason, and that's fine.
Everyone did.
He made himself look dumb talking about finances during like COVID when most of his fan base was struggling. And then he went to, what was it?
Minnesota.
Yeah, the Vikings, then the Ravens, then the Raiders. So now he's like, damn, I need to set some roots and like be nice. And
he did the same thing. He did the same thing in Minnesota and Baltimore. The fans like pretty much ran him out because he was a toolback. From what I heard,
he probably talked to his agent, who was probably like, hey, listen, quit being a douche. And so you're welcome that you got the humbled 5-time traded Yan.
Package.
Like, congratulations.
But here, before we move on, Sam, we got a comment that says, "There's my fellow bearded Texan, my favorite raven-haired Jaguar, and everyone else." LOL.
Thanks.
I think they're talking about Sam, but I don't know.
I don't know who's the raven-haired Jaguar. That could be
Clearly
Josh
me.
Allen.
That's clearly me.
I know.
right.
I don't know who you are, but thanks, buddy.
Well, speaking of the bearded Texan, Matt Briggs, what's been going on in Texans training camp?
Hey, before we go on to the Texans, we totally forgot to mention that Josh Allen over here got in a fight at the Bills training camp.
Yeah,
You know that?
he fought his defensive lineman.
Yeah.
Why would you do that, Josh?
For real.
You know,
Like, did he steal the cheeseburger or something? I mean, what's up? No, the only real news is John Messi, our second round pick. He got leukemia. So he is he's taking the year off of football to get healthy. So prayers and thoughts to him and his family. Tough, that's a tough thing to go to. Look, guys, it's training camp. Nobody's tackling nobody. Nobody's doing nothing, so everybody's looking fantastic. Mills didn't throw any interceptions, only missed 4 passes. The rest were completed. Again, it's training camp. I mean, shit, we can go out there and dump and pass with not getting hit. So, but for what it's worth, they look good. They look decent. Mills looks good. The running game actually looks like a running game. Until they put the pads on and start tackling, there's really can't say nothing. So that's the Texan for you. But until then, it's Money Mills till die. He's the second best rookie quarterback of the last year's draft. I'll die on that hill.
Well, at least you're not
I
comparing.
think you got a
Josh
good quarterback
Allen
out of it for sure.
Yeah. Yes, he is the answer. Hey, all the Titans fans can
Surprisingly the answer.
All the Titans fans can say that the Texans have no room to talk, but we do because didn't we split with you guys? So yeah,
That was my fault. That was my fault.
All the rumored.
That was my fault, though.
Hey, a win's a win. I don't care what it is. I'm after.
And whenever I go to the game, they lose. So you're welcome.
I'm an Astros fan. Cheat, win, still, it doesn't matter. A win's a win, baby. It does not matter. Tom Brady is the GOAT.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Okay. Anyways, moving on. I only said that one time, and I said I would never say it again. Okay. Moving on. You have anything else to add?
No, it's training camp. I mean, nobody's actually, I mean, yeah, everybody looks good. I'm glad, but I guess Lovie Smith is making everybody vote for team captain, and Lovie Smith, of course, voted Davis Mills. I mean, you're a dumb head coach.
What? The quarterback was named the captain?
Oh, he's not named yet. Everybody's voting. So.
Wait, the coach gets to vote?
I mean, I guess.
What kind of democracy is that?
It's not a dictatorship.
That sounds like Shimshammery.
Hey, anything's better than David Coley and Tim Kelly. So,
sir, I'll appreciate it if your organization lets my organization be the inept one. All right, I need
my bad.
decisions.
My bad. I'm sorry.
Between the Jaguars and the Texans, that's a hefty battle right now of who's the most inept. To be continued. We'll find out.
It's still the Jaguars.
Oh, okay. Okay, maybe. Speak for yourself.
I mean,
Bill O'Brien traded your best player for.
Like that, but did he kick his kicker?
I'm sorry.
That's a good transition. I think we're going to
Sam,
the Jags next, right?
Sam, are you there?
Let's take a moment. Let's take a moment
just
to curse the name of Urban Meyer.
Josh, you mean finger popping Urban Meyer?
Urban Good Time Meyer. He ruined my favorite college football program, and now he added to the misery that is the Jacksonville Jaguars. He ruined Josh Lambo, one of my favorite kickers, and this just goes to show you how bad the Jaguars have been historically. Many of my favorite players of all time in the franchise have been kickers.
That's what I've always said about
Josh Scobie, you got all kinds of you got people that have, it's just terrible. But Josh Lambo, he had a great personality. He really, really bought into the whole Titans fans eat mayonnaise shtick that we do. And Urban Meyer ruined him to the point where we have no kicker now. And our big training camp news is whatever jabroni we brought in, I don't even know the guy's name, to kick this year, was kicking balls so far away from the uprights, then he was whacking reporters with the balls, and just knocking
Could be
people.
worse. Ask Daniel Jones.
Yeah, right. So we had to bring in a new kicker already. But if you look at Jaguars, at least Jaguars Facebook groups now, we're going to the Super Bowl, guys. It's a dynasty now. Even though we have no receivers and they continue to drop passes, and it's just wild. No one has died. There's been no big injuries. So at this point, it's sort of the same thing. There's not any big news other than the Jaguars are losers till they aren't, and all the Jags fans that I know get mad at me when I say that. But facts are facts, and
there's actually huge news this week. Josh Allen,
Trevor Lawrence is getting divorced.
No.
Did he get a haircut?
No.
Trevor Lawrence get a haircut?
He should never divorce that woman. That is a beautiful.
All because of that chopping block. I'm telling you, that's the whole reason why.
No, I'm still mad at you.
Wait, what news did I miss? What did I miss?
No, not we. I'm the non-biased host. I'm sorry. The Jaguars are inducting their first ever Hall of Famer on Thursday.
Oh yeah,
Tony
that is this
Baselli.
week, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. So
on
Tony Baselli.
Thursday.
And can we just talk? Listen, I love Big Bo, right? As Dan Hicken says around here, number 71 in your playbook, number 1 in our hearts. But can we just talk about how stupid it is that Fred Taylor is not in the Hall of Fame? Also, put my man Fred Taylor in the Hall of Fame. It's just dumb. I'm happy for Tony Baselli. And big shout out to Bruce Smith. He is still mad online. I don't know if you've seen that whole saga where he was protesting Baselli going into the Hall of Fame over, he said it's just because Baselli beat him up in a couple games. But that's not true. I mean, I'm happy for Baselli. That's probably the only shining moment we're going to have this season.
Quick question for you, Josh. So obviously you pick Fred Taylor over Baselli. What about Jimmy Smith? Do you pick him over him?
It's not about over. It's that if you look at that team, like there are three names that pop out as just probably some of the best players we've ever had, if not the best. Tony Baselli, Fred Taylor, and Jimmy Smith. Jimmy Smith and Brunell's not a Hall of Famer. Brunell's good.
But I'm just sorry. I think like the best players you've had, right?
Yeah, Brunell's up there. Brunell, he was sort of Doug Flutie-esque, right? Like not the biggest guy, not the strongest arm, but he can make plays and But just as far as like there are 3 players that, in my opinion, should be in the Hall of Fame, and it's Baselli. Yeah, well, McCardell. I don't think McCardell had. If you look at McCardell's numbers, he doesn't have Hall of Fame numbers. You
just broke Sam's heart. You just broke your heart.
That was my
I love Keenan McCardell. Listen, I love Keenan McCardell, but if you're just talking about are there any other candidates from the Jags that could get into the Hall of Fame, it's clearly Baselli, it's Taylor, and Jimmy Smith. Now, Jimmy
Maurice
Smith,
Jones-Drew, maybe.
Mojo's not Hall of Fame. I love Mojo.
I like Maurice.
He died off hard.
I'm just throwing out. Just throwing out possibilities.
Yeah, Mojo's numbers died off hard.
Maurice Jones-Drew
like most running backs.
Listen, Maurice Jones-Drew also said today that Derek Carr is a better quarterback than Russell Wilson.
He is.
He's not
right now. He is.
Right
in
now,
2022, maybe.
If you were to say but if you were to say who is better, just a generalization, who is the better quarterback?
You have to define better. You can't just say it as a generalization.
If I ask
who's had a better career, then it's not
it's not close.
Right? It's not
that wise is Derek Carr, but win wise and
I can think of one stat that matters.
Right. So, exactly. You had a team around him. Derek Carr never had a team around him though. He never had a defense that Russell Wilson did.
Look, okay, here's the thing with Derek Carr. When people talk about Derek Carr, it just goes in waves. People love him and then they hate him. And right now we're on the we love him wave. Just give it like 5 weeks and everyone will hate him again.
If you had a gun to your head and you had to pick one QB right now to be the QB of your franchise for the next 5 years, you're not picking Russell Wilson.
Yeah,
you're not. You're picking Derek Carr. Yeah. He's old. He's old.
Yeah, July 31st, yes, because we're on the high point of the love Derek Carr wave.
And also you can prove this. Amari Cooper left for the Cowboys. Hasn't done nothing. Darren Waller was at the Baltimore Ravens. Didn't do nothing until he got to Oakland or Las Vegas, wherever they moved to. Derek Carr makes good players. So, you got to give that to him. Hunter Renfrow. Nobody expected him.
Okay, so my honest opinion of Derek Carr is I don't think he's as bad as his detractors say he is, and I don't think he's as good as his what's the opposite of detractor?
He's very underrated.
I don't think he's as good. Yeah, I don't think he's
Protractors.
The
Subtract?
I don't think he's as good as the people who fawn over him. I think
He has
it's very polarizing. People either really hate him or they really love him. But I think he's a little bit more in the middle, maybe a little bit more towards good than bad. But I don't think
he has an ESPN talk show host as a GM and a horrible John Gruden as coach the last 4 years. So, I mean, that guy.
I mean, he's no Blake Bortles, but you know,
right,
who
he's
is,
no boat.
right?
Right, he's no
I
boat.
mean, but that speaks to 4 years out of what? Out of a 10-year career.
I mean, and he took him to the playoffs with Jack Del Rio.
The 2016 season was a really, really good season, but that could just be a Carson Wentz 2017 Eagles season. But he did play. I mean, he played better last year. It looks things are trending upwards. I don't think he's. I don't think
the team actually built around him finally. I mean, so.
Well, but also, I'm not gonna just go into that. I'm not gonna go ahead and take that away from Jack Del Rio because Jack Del Rio actually made a name for himself well before he was a Jaguars head coach.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is a guy who literally was able to do that. So to say it's like under a Jack Del Rio, it's just like no. I think Jack Del Rio is a little bit more capable. It's just
didn't make his name. He made his name in Jacksonville. He wasn't a head coach before then, was he?
What, in Jacksonville?
Yeah.
No, Del Rio. He wasn't the head coach before Jacksonville.
He was an assistant coach or a coordinator before.
Yeah.
Didn't just pick him off the street.
Anyways, wrapping this up, Josh Allen, I agree. You, Josh Allen, the commentator, Josh Allen, I agree that there were some other people. I think this, as somebody who lives in town, I think a lot of it, from what we heard from Jimmy Smith last year, who was supposed to be on this podcast tonight, by the way, Jimmy Smith, if you're listening. From when we had him on last season, or what, I don't know. We've had him on recently.
At this time.
Yeah, okay. From what he said, there's like a big push and they get behind, like a lot of teams get behind multiple players and push them. So the Jaguars have always and Rashad Jennings kind of
said the same thing.
Yeah, said the same thing where the Jaguars doesn't have
the NFLPA. The NFLPA has like a certain groups that do that for
each team. And either way, the Jaguars themselves don't really push veteran players as much as they should. And so they hyper focused on Tony Boselli because even at like some of the Jacksonville City Council meetings and stuff, he would show up. Like he's always been at all the games. And so it's a lot of like
I'm just telling you right now,
like marketing type stuff.
I hear you, and that's a shame. That's a shame. That's just it's part and parcel with the way the Jacksonville organization is always run. But I'm telling you right now, Fred Taylor had a better career just from who's more of a standout Hall of Famer than Tony Boselli did. Like, and I think Boselli deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Coming in talks, so I think that's going to be our next push is him and Jimmy Smith, and so. I think
Jimmy Smith's off the field stuff is what has prevented.
Yeah, he was a harder sell. He was a harder sell, right? Yeah. Because of that.
It's the same reason that he it took them forever. He's in the pride of the Jaguars now, the Ring of Honor or whatever. Mm-hmm. He was the last one from that unit to go.
There's those sort of like politics that factor into it, and so you kind of have to like.
Well, and Fred Taylor is not as bad as Jimmy Smith, but I think he had some off the field issues as well. Did he not?
Mm-mm.
No, not nothing. I think he got scammed out of
that.
Some money. No, nothing like that. Okay. He got scammed out of money. He made bad business deals, but then so did Mark Brunell and Tony Boselli too.
So did every NFL.
He still got put into the Hall of Fame. So
So did every NFL player. They all make bad money decisions.
Yeah, you could make a documentary on the failed Whataburger empire that Boselli and Mark Brunell tried to open here in Jacksonville. Like they had a bunch of Whataburgers that ended up failing.
You know what?
I think Whataburgers go.
I love them for that though. Thank you for bringing Whataburger to Jacksonville. So the athletes can pay for the rest of us to just get fat. Appreciate that.
Speaking of fat,
nothing else to add. Yeah. Speaking of mayonnaise on a burger, Jon Ha.
Speaking of the fat receivers.
Yeah, that's right. Nothing crazy. It looks like Treylon Burks has showed up to training camp in shape. He seemed to look pretty good in conditioning, no problems there. That was the big concern. Everyone was losing their minds over him leaving the field. What was those? The OTAs and whatnot. He was having asthma problems. He was fat, but it looks like he's in better shape. Robert Woods doesn't look like his ACL seems to be bothering him any. He looked pretty good. He was moving, making pretty quick cuts. All things considered.
Ric Flair showed up.
Ric Flair showed up. Ooh, hooray. That's always fun. Yeah,
I was offended by that too, because he was on our video boards in between plays last year. Like he did a big marketing thing with the Jaguars, and then he showed up holding a trash bag with like a Titans logo on it.
A gig is a gig, man. Yeah,
I'm offended too because he threw the opening pitch for the Astros. I'm offended too. I mean, come on, pick a team and stick to it.
That's true.
I couldn't care less which celebrity shows up to a training camp. It's just
come on, John.
That's all PR stuff.
Hey, he called Derrick Henry his favorite player, and Ray Cherry took that and ran with it too.
I'm sure he did because that automatically means he's rushing for 2,000 yards because Ric Flair loves Derrick Henry. I got it. I put the pieces together.
Be the man. You got to beat the man.
That's right.
Limousine driving.
Yeah, so I mean that was the main story coming in was that our receivers, what are they going to look like? Robert Woods, he had that ACL injury. Traylon Burks was not in shape for OTAs, but it looks like he squared that up. Other than that, looks like Aaron Brewer kind of moved up the depth chart on the offensive line. At least maybe looks that way. Who knows? But other than that, I mean, it's early. Who knows?
Tim, can we bring in a special guest real quick?
Oh, okay,
Jesus, who?
If you can look at my name, I'm going to play the role of Michael.
Oh, it's Tesmer. Great.
Yes.
No, Donnie's the one who hates me the most.
You forgot to mention that Traylon Burks dropped 3 passes in training camp.
Oh, that's right.
You forgot to mention that. All right. Now, excuse me while I go to Facebook and post 8 times in the group about it. All right. Okay, I'm back.
No, just Sam's the one who brought this special guest in.
Yeah, that's my kids that won't sleep because it's summer. I don't know why.
Yeah, we heard him. He said, "Mom, let me get some gushers."
Oh my god, I cannot wait till they go back to school, dude. That's why I've had to step off camera so many times. They literally know that I can't stop because this is live. So they're in there, even though they're supposed to be in bed. Whoo, they're about to get a Ric Flair in a minute. Woo!
I just got a message. I just got a text message from my wife, and she told me I need to lower my voice. She's afraid I'm going to wake my daughter up. Not because it's a problem for her, but just because I get stressed out when the child doesn't go to bed. So it's the same sort of. It's can you please just go to sleep?
Come be here.
All right, I'll keep my voice down.
No, not you guys. They can't. It's in. You guys are in the headphones. Just my big mouth.
I was about to yell, but then I realized.
But yeah, Titans didn't have much. We didn't really have a whole lot. Buster Screen retired. That's about it.
I know what I talked about. He retired. I think he got picked up by somebody else.
No, he was retired.
Oh, I already missed it. Yeah, last I heard, they said he was retired, so I didn't follow anything further. So they opened up training camp saying, "Yep, he's retired." So there we go.
Well, if that's it, yeah, training camp. We're still going to continue on. Preseason starting this week. Football is back.
About damn time.
Is back.
What's the Hall of Fame game?
It's Thursday.
Well, no, but who is it?
It's the Jaguars.
Jaguars and
the Raiders.
Right, okay.
Is it this Thursday?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's August 4th.
Damn.
Yeah.
I know it's starting this week. I'm so excited.
I thought we had like a week or so. We need to get on our fantasy league quick.
And I just love the fact that the whole fan base of the entire league has to watch the same garbage that I've been subjected to for 25 years. There's no other game on, folks. Guess what? You want to watch football? You haven't seen it in months. You got to watch.
Is anybody going to play? Anybody meaningful going to play? So yeah,
I would doubt it.
That seems to be the new trend now too. Like nobody plays. Even
honestly,
fourth week of preseason, no one plays.
If we see Jaguars and Raiders backups, I'm pretty sure it's going to be better than watching the start.
I guarantee because it's going to be the first game, right? And they're going to have a bunch of people tuning in because it's the first game of the season. Although it's preseason, the first few snaps are going to be Trevor Lawrence, and you know what I mean.
They'll be out there for a drive, but other than that,
they're going to play a few snaps, and then they'll end up swapping out to.
Everybody's going to watch for the first half, and then in the first half, the ratings are going to go. Oh,
yeah, this is what happens. Every time preseason comes around, I get excited, and then the game starts, and I go, "Oh yeah, this is why I hate preseason games because they're dumb and boring." And I don't
nobody watches preseason until the third game.
I forget every year.
Game.
It's the
the only thing I'm looking forward to a little bit is Travis Etienne. We'll see what he's.
Finally.
That's right. He's back.
Yep.
That's everybody's ranting and raving about him in training camp. You know, he's gonna be.
Yeah, over literally, he's had one play. And everyone's like, "Oh, he's the greatest."
Same for Damian Pierce.
He did one thing.
Yeah, we had the same thing. Damian Pierce ran a 76-yard touchdown with nobody touching him.
It's like the Titans fans going crazy every time Malik Willis throws a pass that's completed.
Right.
Never mind all the 6 incompletions that he threw before that. Oh, did you see that? He's here. It's here.
I saw one that they were like, I saw one where they were like, "Oh, Malik's dropping dimes," and it was the most wobbly duck of a pass I've ever seen. Yeah, real dime, yeah.
Well, I mean, you're also talking to a fan base that really didn't start watching football until like 5 years ago. So
true.
Yeah. Well, next week, Matt, who we got Trey Smith coming on, Jimmy Smith's son, Trey Smith, Jimmy Smith III. Sorry, coming on. So he actually signed with the Jaguars, and obviously the Jaguars don't need any running backs right now. So he's playing in another league. So he's going to talk to us about that, as well as. Who else?
Leonard Firestone. He is a famous TikToker with over 1 million followers, or whatever you want to say it. But sadly, he's a Titans fan, so he is excited to come on and talk trash.
I'm sure he is. I'm so excited to have him on.
Hey, you'll have a Titans guy that has a social media. There you go.
Okay, like if you ever see if you ever see a TikTok with a guy doing blind reactions and eating mayonnaise, that's him.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Wonderful. Well, guys, we thank you for tuning in this evening. Make sure you check out Prize Picks. You can win easy money. It's very similar to DraftKings, but better. Similar, but better. And if you do sign up, you can receive $100 when you deposit money. Use the code FBSN. That's for Fan Battle Sports Network. And we thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Peace out.